All right, today's topic is going to be Shemira. I believe Shemira is, yes, she's not as great as she used to be. She's not the hyper carry of old. If you see posts that are 3 plus 4 years old, you're going to see everyone talk about how Shemira is literally the best character in the game. And if you see anything that's probably in the last year and a half or so, it's going to say that she's the worst character in the game. She's absolute dog water. Don't use her. And I think that there is a really good reason why Shemira is okay to build in the early game. And the reason why is the swap scroll. I feel like it is the purpose for why the swap scroll exists. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for there to be essentially just like a catch-all in such a way like, oh, hey, you messed up really bad. You can do this on anything, and that's great. But if they had that, I feel like they would have more of them, right? You may get them every couple chapters or something like that, but there's only one, and the place that it's at, chapter 24, is I think such a crucial time period for Shemira. It's the point where she becomes borderline just useless. She's just not a good character. She can kind of be utilized a little bit as an off DPS, as like a secondary. She can be somewhat helpful in some battles that you may not like. You're not able to keep up with the DPS like overall. So maybe you have one character that's really, really strong, and let's say you need to take out a target, and if you can take that one target out, then you can win. Having Shemira just be on the battlefield as long as she survives and does damage to everything can be that extra little kick that you need to take down that one crucial enemy character and thus win the fight. But again, it's so kind of few and far between at that point when Shemira can actually pull that off. But the reason why I think she's okay and why the swap scroll exists specifically for her is because the swap scroll will take whatever your copy of the character is that you have and switch it into the other character that you're giving it for, right? Um, and the reason why this is so powerful and strong is because Shemira, unlike any other carry in the game, even it be early character, is available to be purchased in the store. You can purchase her for labyrinth tokens, and she resets, so you can keep doing it. All right. So I feel like, and now mind you, you cannot engrave Shemira if you want to be able to use the swap scroll. So please, absolutely, if there's anything else you take from this video, don't don't engrave Shemira. But that being said, you start off the game, you're going to be doing Graveborn summons anyway because it's arguably the strongest faction. If you get some copies of Shemira, great. Just hold on to them. If you want to build her to be an early game carry, you can do that as well. She does work extremely well. I used her all the way up until probably chapter 18 as kind of like my main carry. But you can get a copy of her from chapter 15. It's just the reward for completing the chapter. You can get her from the Peak of Time, from the Peaks of Time, the one called Divine Realm. Where is that? That is here. This one will give you a copy of Shemira. You can't see it here, but it's there. So you get 2 copies for free from that. Then you can pull them from Graveborn. And then on top of that, you can buy them in the store for Labyrinth tokens, which you're already going to be using anyway. All right. I feel like everybody else in this list, of characters that you can buy, they're so like long-term investments, and things like Arthur, things like Joan of Arc, they are really good later on in the game, but in the very, very beginning, when you need characters and you need to be able to do things like up your ascended level, your level characters of everybody that's in the crystal, make sure that you're maximizing your potential there. Having Shemira be no RNG, having her be able to, the second that the store resets, buy another copy of her, ascend her, get her to 5 stars, and then use that swap scroll for literally any character in the game is super crucial. And let's say that you get to that point and you decide, I want to use the swap scroll on something else. I feel like specifically with Shemira at that point, The other benefit is that you can use her as a dimensional character, right? You can use her to tie to some other character that's just as strong, that you need to have 5 stars, and there's no RNG. That just means the second that you can purchase that dimensional character, you now have a 5-star version of that character. Maybe with furniture too. Again, so she's beneficial in the very beginning because she's a good strong carry. She scales to a certain point. She does AoE damage. She's really, really beefy. So as most carries are, she's not as glass cannony. She's not like a Scarlet where, if she can get ult off, great, you win the game. If she doesn't, then you just lose. Or Kren for that matter. Those characters are very, very temperamental about how they get their ults off. And if they can, then they win. If they don't, they die. Shemira is tanky. She can heal herself. She can benefit from other characters' bonuses. Having Rowan to be able to heal her and energy spike her along with Call makes it so that she can ult and survive that much better. I had so many battles up until probably the early 20s where Shemira was the only thing left on the table and she got it done. She got the job done. So Shemira is very, very good early game. And while she does drop off the map, you've got the swap scroll, you've got the dimensional key, you have options. You have things that make it so that there's still a benefit to having Shemira be there. Because even once you're at that point where she just is not useful anymore, and she's at 1 star, and you're like, man, I wasted all that furniture, I wasted the signature item points. What am I gonna do? Then you can swap them into a better character later on once you can continue to get the RNG, the no RNG copies from the store. Again, you're going to be pulling her from doing Graveborn summons anyway, on top of that, so later on, it doesn't feel like it's a wasted pull, right? Because it's just helping that Shemira, it's just helping that one-dimensional character or that swapped character, and again, once you get to that point, you can swap them for any character in the game. There's no RNG. Any character that ends up being super broken, now all of a sudden you have the best version of them with full furniture, with full signature item, 5 stars, whatever you need, however long you want. If you can wait that long, then you're just limiting the RNG, which I feel like is the way to really succeed in this game. So Shemira, not as terrible as you may think, with the caveat of for specific reasons and specifically in use of the swap scroll or the dimensional key.